I've played War Thunder for almost 10 years. Attack the D point. Attack the D point. With over 800 videos, exactly a month from today, I become a 10-year veteran.
Oh, it's a big ball. Good fucking hell, get fucked.
So join me as we explore some of my favourite vehicles War Thunder has to offer. How am I still alive? Stop crashing on me, you stupid fuck! I'm in a 1930s bomber! Buy my decal. G'day, I'm Ash and welcome to episode 17 of the Vehicle Showcase. Today we're taking a look at one of the most infamous vehicles that has been added to War Thunder. A vehicle which, might I add, is a premium vehicle. The battle rating of 4.7 is introduced as a premium pack as a part of Update 1.79 Project X, and was removed again during, well, War Thunder's 6th anniversary. So, initially added on 12th of June 2018, this vehicle has gained a reputation like the F-82 for being a very sought-after vehicle. Now, it was made available briefly during the 2018 winter sale and for the 2022 maiden flight of the BF-109 event, and the reason this thing was removed from the store was practically because the model was actually incorrect. The wooden mock-up of this thing, the 109Z3, was this particular model, but the Z1 actually was a pair of E model 109s. It does have limited armor, only one pilot, and in the other pilot cocoon they filled with a fuel tank, so there is that to contend with. Survivability is incredibly low. This is one of my most hated and most favourite machines at the same time. Your worst enemy will be XP50s, P38Ks, P59s, various other just vehicles that are really good, Zeros, stuff that turns, and things that you will love fighting come out of the fact that this gets night fighter ammunition, stuff like B-17s, B-24s, Lancasters. That's what this thing was truly made to fight, but I use it in a fighter role more than I do a anti-bomber role, and we're going to showcase that in today's gameplay, so sit back and enjoy. Right, I do apologise for the black bars on the top of the and bottom of the screen. This is basically the only way that I could rectify the footage for the first match. We've side climbed off the side of the map a bit, and you will need to do that. The climb rate on this thing is absolutely absurd. It's not too bad. Realistic, it's 20.5 meters a second, but comparing that to other aircraft, you know, the regular 109 can do 23, 24. You know, stuff like the XP50 is already 1,000 meters above you by the time you try side climbing. So anyway, pulling this thing straight into the vertical, we do have a Battle Pass 109 behind us. I'm not too scared of him. There is a couple more scaries in. And the problem is, this thing really doesn't turn particularly well. So you really have to play your cards right. And by playing your cards right, you're basically being a support player. Because this thing does get combat flaps, takeoff flaps, landing flaps, no arrestor gear and no air brakes. The wing rips status is 790 kilometers an hour, so you can do quite a substantial set of diving in this thing. Although, keep in mind the elevators and the rudder aren't exactly the strongest on this thing comparatively to the F-82. So really, the only good thing about this machine is the fact that, well, it's got 30mm cannons. The only other saving grace of this machine is it does get access to two types of bombs. You've got your Flam 250, and then you've obviously got your 250 kilogram bomb. And so one being the incendiary bomb is great for light targets, although incendiary bombs are kind of just a bit of a gimmick. And the 250 kilogram bomb is great for just killing anything in ground forces, or the occasional ground target if you're taking this out in air realistic battles. You'd have to be nuts to do that. But the open top nature of, you know, some vehicles, it means that the 30mm can shred those of particular vehicles quite nicely. Anyway, we've got a plethora of targets to choose from. The P51 is obviously the first one you should go for. And that's basically all you have to do. Dive in, pick your target, stay with it, help your friendlies out as much as possible because you need it. Going a 1v1 against another aircraft is a bit of a tricky thing, considering this thing has dual landing gears and dual radiators and the works. It wasn't specifically designed to be a interceptor, but it just feels so heavy in War Thunder that it does feel a little bit sort of out of place, considering a P-47s can almost outperform you, especially in a small dive, so you have to try and make sure you don't get your aircraft tangoed with. Anyway, P-47 is going to try and pull up, and he's trying to get me on the inside, and I'm still got a little more energy than he does. Fortunately for me, I have a friendly in to help distract him. We're going to pull back over, we're going to try and nail him as soon as we possibly can. Now, I was going to be a bit cheeky here and see if I can get some kills, but not necessarily the way that I thought it was going. Anyway, retract the flaps on this thing. That yak really wanted the kills. But unfortunately, because the yak's lined him up in a perfect way, I get the kill on that one. And then I look behind me. There's a bunch more aircraft coming in. These 16 vs 16 matches have really extended the life of low tier. Just when you think the game is going to be over, more aircraft come out of the woodwork after all your friendlies kill everything else. Anyway, P-38. I was going to fire a broad shot there, but we'll do this here. There we go. Trigger management, something that I haven't learnt in all my 10 years of playing War Thunder. And I don't think it's really just out of pure sake for gameplay, but you are fighting the rest of the team for kills at the same time as you're flying an aircraft that you're not comfortable with. So sometimes it can be a little bit, I just want to hold the trigger down until I get the kill, and then you realise, well, that now there's 12 other aircraft, despite the rest of the team getting 3 or 4 kills, means that you do optimally get unpreferred sort of matches. Anyway, popping a blind hunt on this guy, or a Avenger I should say, and we find ourselves with an American BTT. This will be the 4th kill of the match, provided I can actually get over to him in time. Hopefully the rest of the team doesn't notice. I'm just going to climb over this direction. We're going to climb around and basically just try and intercept him, as the friendly on our team also tries to go for the BTD as well. Now, I understand why you do that, but again, come on, this is my aircraft, I called him, as we're now in a head-to-head competition to see who can kill the BTD. He puts out a few good, nice, decent hits. I'm going to pass him, I'm going to shoot over his shoulder. He's trying to deflect the aircraft so that I can't get a kill, but I really want to get an ace.
Splash.
We're never going to get an ace at this rate. In fact, we never do get an ace in the couple of matches that I do play today. Anyhow, it's just one of those aircraft that is really, really fascinating. This thing's got a fascinating history. It sits in a rather uncomfortable spot as a heavy fighter, generally. At 4.7, it's really good, but also really bad at the same time. I love this machine, but also hate this machine. It's one of the stream's favourites. We often end up by playing this thing on stream whenever I do stream on Twitch or YouTube or whatever reason. Essentially, this thing is a bomber-destroyer. Now, you could say I stole that kill from that fuck wolf, but that'll come back to bite that fuck wolf later down the line. It essentially goes and steals another one of my kills. Anyway, should show you another clip of me shredding a B-17. It's from my practice round earlier this morning after I was reading the devastating changes to the economy, which I will be covering in a video soon, after we finish our little series that we've got going. Now that we're at 3,200 meters, there are a couple of aircraft up here. There's a Zero, and I believe there's a J2M or something like that up there. Or an A7M2, sorry. And there is an F8F and several other aircraft. As you can see, it doesn't look like there is any friendlies around. That sort of area of the map is all red. Red above me, red below me. There is not very many friendlies around. And then you realise that most of them are on the deck, fighting and engaging, going head-on with some of the aircraft down here. Not exactly the greatest. Finally got a reduced speed warning. We're going to pull through. Hopefully the Corsair doesn't nail us. Good stuff by the friendly there. And this is where it gets a bit interesting, because this aircraft doesn't lend itself to turn fighting too well. So I have to boom and zoom it. Climb up, back around, try and save the friendly down there, who's in a Spitfire. And, well, that's not going very well, isn't it? Because, unfortunately, the A6M5 gets him and then crashes as well. So now I have to deal with a Zero by myself, but there is another friendly inbound, so hopefully we can deal with this A6M5, because between the two of us, the Sea Fury isn't exactly the most mobile, and this thing is less mobile than that, so hopefully we'll be getting a lucky hit on this A6M5, knock him out of the race altogether. Be a bit cheeky with the guns, see if I can get a hit there, but I can't. But I'll pull him towards the friendly, then basically just keep my speed up, try and pull him around, and hopefully get this aircraft towards a point where he's constantly engaging an aircraft. That way, allow us heavy bastards to actually turn back around. And as the Zero flips onto the other target, try and basically get this Zero down to a nice level where it's easy to hit him. So thanks to that Seafarer pilot there, done a good bit of job there. We are going to get a lucky critical hit on this guy, set him on fire, and he is going to absolutely combust. Right, that's the first, or the second kill of the match. Now we've got a Kai-67 and an N1K inbound, and unfortunately, my friendly goes all ham on this guy, leaving me with no choice but to sort of try and chase this guy down while having no energy, no speed whatsoever. I'm only doing about 380. That N1K is pretty lucky to be going in a dive. If I can get a hit on him. If he turns too much, I will be able to get him here just by spraying around him. And unfortunately, my aim is actually garbage, but we get there in the end, and the N1K is now down. And again, this aircraft is incredibly situational. I've had games where you've just basically killed bombers and then killed one fighter, and then that's an ace. Out of the games where I've basically just killed all Focke-Wulfs, or I've killed all sorts of things. Speaking of Focke-Wulfs, there is an American premium one, the 88. Red bastard, that one. Essentially, that vehicle is incredibly good. The radial is incredibly powerful on that engine, and, well, the inlines that I've got, not exactly the greatest. This thing is actually heavier than that machine. Also slightly smaller. The Focke-Wulf is actually quite a large aircraft. The 109 is actually quite tiny. When I saw a 109 in person at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, they've got a G6 hung up on the ceiling with its original camouflage. It was just so much smaller than I expected. The Zero was capable sort of size to the 109. It was quite strange sort of aircraft. Whereas, the German workhorse for the Air Force was actually the Focke-Wulf. BF-109s get all the praise. This thing is probably about as heavy as that machine, and I'm struggling to try and keep my distance from him without actually overheating my engine. So I've realised that I could probably turn back towards my friendlies and actually help sort of win this engagement. Now, I don't want to kill him. I've only got 3 kills. I don't want to get the 4th. Focke-Wulf is definitely on that list. And if I can try and get a kill, that'd be great. Anyway, screws up his approach here, pulls down underneath me, and I managed to outroll him and basically just keep on his 6. Now, P-51 makes a terrible mistake of trying to go head-on with that guy. Luckily, he manages to avoid getting destroyed, but there is another aircraft inbound as well, as the friendlies have realised that, well, maybe we should take out the Focke-Wulf, as it's a prime threat. Again, me spraying and praying, hopefully getting a sort of a hit. So anyway, pulling around, you can sort of see the manoeuvrability of this thing. Not great, but it's a machine that works and a machine that works well. The 430mm, while they are low on ammunition, can do shots like that, even if you're a bit careful. Skill issue on the aim, but yeah, you know what? Sometimes that's just life. And speaking of life, there is a Kai-67 left. And that is the last aircraft that there is. I'm going to try and use my last remaining 8 bullets on him. We're going to see how that goes. Alright, aim up. Give the old Daka, miss all those shots. Getting shot at by his rear gunners. Good thing the airfield is right there, so we're just going to go land. And while he gets killed by the other P-51, we're going to reminisce on the fact that there is a B-17 left that is basically holding this match hostage. And that's basically good game once we pancake it. Luckily we didn't kill the pilot. That's something that does happen frequently in this, that when you land like that. So I guess I survived another hard landing. Anyway. So that is the BF-109Z, a aircraft that is infamously famous for the wrong things. I think it's misunderstood. It's one of those interesting vehicles that people really like the look of, and sometimes I wish this thing was back on sale, because people just do not stop asking, hey Ash, can you fly this thing? Or, when are you going to fly the F-82? And stuff like that. I guess people just like the tandem sort of aircraft vibe that's going on, and I'd love to see the Heinkel 111Z in game at some point with the 5 engines. I'd love to see some of the other wacky aircraft in game, but they're never going to go for that. They're never going to fulfill World War II content. They're only going to go ahead and add more top tier stuff, as that's what makes them money. So, it is what it is. But that is the BF-109Z1. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of this thing in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.